So, Leslie, it is tough to decide. Most families, they'll only go to Disney a few times in their lifetime, if not only once, right? So it is a lot of pressure at times to decide, am I going to go this year with my family or am I going to go next year? And with the information that we have available, I thought we would just take a look at the different aspects of Disney vacations and say whether we go in 2024, 2025, or is it a wash, and talk about why. So let's talk about price, Leslie. Price-wise, between 2024 and 2025, we've talked about some ticket price changes and some hotel changes. What are you thinking? 2024, 2025, or a wash?
I think it's going to be a wash. I mean, at this moment, if you sort of do the math, 2025 is a little bit more expensive because of the tickets mostly being more expensive. But I fully expect that there will be some hotel discounts that get released for 2025. It's too soon for that. And, there are fewer hotel discounts for 2024 at this point. That ship has sailed for a lot of folks on a lot of dates. So, I mean, you can still find them, but not as many. So I think it's a wash. I don't think you're going to be paying substantially more for Disney World in 2025 than you are in 2024. I would not say the same thing, for what it's worth, Joe, for Disneyland.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. I also agree that it's a wash. I surprisingly, when I was doing some research for clients, I feel like I would give 2025 a slight edge. I found that this summer, you alluded to it already, but a lot of the discounts are like no longer available. These stay longer discounts, the room discounts, they're not available in the summer anymore. A lot of them have kind of sold out of their inventory. Of course, for the dates that they're still available, bird in the hand, you can lock that in, but a lot of them are gone. But if you can't get the discount for 2024 in 2025, you said it, they're competing with Epic Universe, right? They're going to need to put some of these rooms on sale in 2025. So I think that there's a good chance that in 2025, you're going to pay less overall just because you can lock in one of those discounts. I was going to do this as a Disney do or don't, but I have a different one, so I'll say this here. Don't forget that you only need to make a $200 deposit on a Disney package, and that is fully refundable up until 30 days before your trip. Or like we said, if you're doing a room only reservation, it's fully refundable up to 5 days before or 8 days before in 2025. You can lock in a price, give Disney a $200 loan. And if you decide that you're not going to be able to go this year or next year, whenever you make it, you can kind of be a little bit flexible with that. Okay, so that's price. Now, in terms of features and attractions, 2024, 2025, or a wash for you?
Kind of a wash for me as well. I don't think there's really much new. I mean, Tiana's is the thing that is new, and that will be around for some part of 2024. So I guess if you're looking at going next month in 2024, I would say wait till later in the year or till 2025, because Tiana's to me is the only real draw of all the new things that are coming down. So yeah, there's just, unless Disney wows us with some big announcement this summer and at D23 and is able to build it fast, which they've not shown they can do this last decade, then there's just not going to be anything worth waiting for.
Yeah, it's not moving the needle at all for me. I totally agree. It's completely a wash in terms of what you're going to, especially if you haven't been for a while, right? If you're playing this game and you don't go every year, then if you haven't been for a couple years, you haven't done Guardians, you haven't done Tron. There's lots of new stuff for you to try. Moana, Happily Ever After is back. Luminous, whether you love it or not, is new, right? So I don't think there's a huge difference between 2024 and 2025 if you're a guest that doesn't come every year. All right, up next, crowds. This is a tough one because we're always speculating. Do you think it's going to be worse in 2024 or 2025? I'll go first. I think crowds are going to be better in 2025 just because of Epic Universe. I mean, I don't know how many people they're going to draw, and it's just wild speculation here. But like I said, the fact that I've started to see these, I honestly thought the room discounts would be around all year. I've started to see them dry up, which means 2024 is filling up. And so 2025, you might end up having better crowds.
Yeah, I agree with you to a point. I mean, if you had asked me a month ago, even, I would have said crowds are going to be better in 2024, but we've already seen a little bit of an uptick, right? We've seen that these hotel discounts are filling the rooms and people are squeezing that Disney vacation in, and maybe whatever uncertainty they were worried about a few months ago has lifted a tiny bit. So I don't think the crowds are going to be super, super light for the rest of this year, but they might go down in 2025. I will put an asterisk on this, Joe, because my one concern is, yes, Epic Universe is going to draw people over to Universal in 2025, but it also is going to draw more people to Orlando, period. And I do wonder if just more human beings in that vicinity, a few of them will tack on a Disney day or something like that. And that could end up bringing this to closer to a wash. But it kind of just depends on whether the entire draw of Florida and the greater Orlando area is elevated by the addition at Universal. We'll see.
Gatorland, step up your game. But yeah, that's a great point. I didn't think of it that way. So I guess we will see. The next one, this one is going to be the most fun for me. Genie Plus. Let's just say for sake of argument, okay? We've gotten this wrong so many times. Who even cares at this point? If you're not a longtime listener, we were speculating Genie Plus was going to change all at the end of 2023, and it didn't change, and we had egg on our face to start off 2024. Let's say for sake of argument, Genie Plus is what Len and Jim are predicting. It's going to be, if you're an on-site hotel guest, you're going to be able to book it 7 days in advance. And, forget the tiers and all that stuff. I'm sure there will be tiers, but let's just say that you're going to be able to book in advance. Would you rather go in 2025 with Genie Plus where you book it in advance, or 2024 where you book it live? What do you think, Leslie?
Oh, this is really tough because we don't know what 2025 or whatever the changes are actually going to be. The devil, is kind of
you
what
took
I'm
the words
going
right out of my mouth. You took that's exactly the phrase that I was going to use.
We know each other so well, Joe. All these years of podcasting together, we're reading each other's minds. But I know how to work Genie Plus. I know how to hack it. We've released all these episodes to help you who are listening do the same. I always fear change because change could make things so much worse. It could make it less hackable. Right now, I'm getting in enough rides for what I want to get in with Genie Plus. I wish it was better. I wish it was as good as Disneyland's, but I'm doing everything I want to do at Walt Disney World, having to work it. It is terrible to have to wake up before 7 a.m. or I guess, stay up past midnight. I don't like that feature of it, but that's really the only super negative that I think will be alleviated by this change. But there could be more negatives heaped on this in 2025. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, same. You took the words right out of my mouth. I also think that more people, you don't have to know the system to book 7 days in advance because you will book something, right? Whereas when you are, for lack of a better, the unfair thing about Genie Plus is it gives an advantage to people like us because we know how the system works and we can be way more efficient with it. When you have 7 days in advance, it's going to be better for the average guest because, they're going to, even if they just book Muppets Vision 3D, or something. Maybe that's too far of an extreme example. But, they book 1 or 2 attractions, those are getting taken out of circulation before we have a chance to do our morning mad dash or, whatever nonsense we're going to get up to when we're trying to book these Genie Plus reservations. I also think that another reason why I prefer 2024's version is I do not think that Disney is going to actually raise the prices. We've talked about it a few times here. If they made Genie Plus $150 a day, like Express Pass at Universal, it's going to price out a lot of people. I think in that situation, if you're reserving attractions in advance, that'll make a big difference. But because I don't expect them to really seriously increase the price, I think they're just going to keep it ticking up, and it's going to be, they're just boiling the frog, right? So people are going to still keep buying it, but now they're going to be able to book their attractions in advance. And yeah, I think the devil we know, at least for us and listeners of this podcast, is going to be better.
All right. The last thing we need to consider is age of your family, depending upon how old your kids are, et cetera, et cetera. Should you go in 2024 or 2025, or is it a wash?
I think unless you are sneaking a kid in for free in 2024 because they haven't turned 3 years old yet, I think it's a wash. I feel like Disney works for any age. My kids are getting older. You're, again, a couple years ahead. But at every age, there's something new that the kids really enjoy and that the kids really love. So, the more I think about it, even if you're a family that's only going to go to Disney World once in your entire lives, I don't think there's a sense in timing it, except for, you don't want that one time in your entire life to be when you're child is in diapers, right? But besides that, I feel like there's so many things. I mean, this is why Disney World is so great. There are so many things that appeal to just kids of different ages and people of different ages. We're going on a multi-generational trip in a couple of weeks, and I'm thinking about how to like accommodate my parents and what they need. But Disney has something for everyone. So to me, it doesn't really matter.
I will say something here. I mean, I agree it's a wash, but as somebody who has a high schooler now, we are seeing very closely like when she's going to be in college and out of the house. There's no time like the present. I wouldn't put off vacations with your family, whether it's Disney or anything else, because these years are short and I am feeling it. I am feeling like I am looking ahead to the calendar for the next school year, every 3-day weekend, every holiday, trying to maximize, because there are only so many more trips anywhere that I get to take with my oldest before she is on her own and being driven by her own schedule. That's just sort of my philosophical words for those of you, Joe and others who have younger kids, is seize it.
Leslie, I hate it when you bring this stuff up. Okay. Why you gotta end us on such a big downer? But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that's why, we're going to the national parks this year. My kids are super excited about it. That's why we do our Disney trips. Any travel, any time, even staycations, like any time you can spend with your kids while they're still young, while they still listen to you, while they still respect you as adults, human beings, that's the time that you want to travel with them.